I forged a Damascus steel knife from 300 razor blades. In this video, you'll witness 12 days of work and see how this incredible knife was created from start to finish. Grab some popcorn and let's begin. First, I opened every single package and removed the paper from all the razor blades. I honestly didn't expect this part to be so exhausting. This alone took me nearly 2 hours. Step by step, I stacked the razor blades onto a long, thin bolt, so I could collect them into one solid mass. Once they were all together, I started making the container. I couldn't find a metal tube the correct size in my workshop, so I made one myself from square steel tubing. Now, the circular stack of razor blades fit perfectly inside. Then I added steel powder. Sealed the container, and fired up my forge. That's when the real process began, the forging, a process that consumed all of my time and energy. I started forging. My first goal was to fuse the entire mass inside the container into one solid piece of steel. Because of that, I worked slowly and carefully, striking the metal lightly with my hammer, trying to compress it evenly from every side. Since I don't have a hydraulic press, everything is done by hand, and that makes this process much more difficult. After several hours, I noticed that the material inside had finally fused together. So I let the metal cool down and used an angle grinder to remove the excess container steel. Then I welded on a handle for better grip and continued forging again. This process alone took the entire day until I finally achieved the rough knife shape. After that, I moved into the belt grinder room. First, I leveled the sides of the blade, then corrected all the contours to refine the knife shape. And finally, I started working on the most important part, the bevels. After that, I carefully sanded the blade up to 220 grit, removing every unnecessary mark and scratch. Then I returned to my forge once again. I heated the blade to around 850 degrees and quenched it quickly in oil. Now the steel was hard, strong, and ready for finishing. Then I started sanding the blade once again. This time I had to sand it from 220 grit all the way to 2000 grit. to prepare the surface for ferric chloride. After sanding, I washed the blade thoroughly and placed it into ferric chloride for a few minutes. As a result, thousands of fine Damascus lines began to appear, and the blade developed a beautiful dark finish. Now it was finally time to move on to the handle. Finally, I assembled everything together using epoxy and waited for the glue to cure until the next day. The next morning, I started refining the handle on the belt grinder, removing excess material and perfecting the shape. After that, I hand sanded the wood one final time, until it felt completely smooth. Then I applied protective wax to protect the handle from moisture and humidity. And this is the final result. 12 days of work. A project that turned out to be extremely difficult and a real challenge. If you enjoyed this build, make sure to subscribe. See you next time.